So next we'll go into the ESFJ. So basically ESFJ, yeah. A lot of people don't really know what's the difference between the ESFJ and ESFP in a sense, but they feel it. They feel there's difference, but they can't really tell that apart. So I want to like be the person who talk about it a little bit, not so much. Yeah, from what I know, I don't know that much, but yeah. But still, yeah, I think it will be good enough for me just to talk about it a little bit. Yeah, so let's go with the ESFJ. So if we go with like all the basic thing that we call about the ESFJ. So basically, ESFJ is guardian. So yeah, when we mean guardian, it means that they are much more onto concrete as well. When it means concrete, it means that something substantial you can see, and it's not something that just that like thinking like what if yeah. Usually, yeah, ESFJ on their ego side is much more onto the concrete, then they are much more affiliative. As you can see, they have any child, so they want to stick onto some certain understanding onto other people, and is that they want to play with it. Yeah, so that's how they become affiliative. They will be want to be playful with the people that he or she knows. Usually, I mean, the more usually the more ESFJ I saw is women, but actually there's a lot of men as ESFJ as well. Then after that, yeah, they are also kind of surprising for you, systematic. But when we mean systematic, it doesn't mean that they are really like a structurized people, but systematic, it means that they work inside a system, the system that they built by them own, or is that they go with the system that they go with the system that is already being built up. So they follow the flow, they follow the rules inside it, and they don't try to go against it that quickly. Yeah, it's not that they just come here and just like, I don't like it, I like it, I don't like it, then they choose and they go. No, they don't do it in that way. They usually will be much more like, yeah, I don't really like it, but after that they will just continue and doing it. Yeah, so usually they are, so that's why we call them the guardians. Yeah, but they're ESFJ. So in a sense, when you saw the people who are ESFJ, they are usually, okay, at least from my point of view, they are a little bit much more like a caring elder sister positions. And sometimes they will be a little bit, yeah, emotional, but emotional in the sense they're trying to understand other people. That will just resonate to others, people feeling much more easily. And instead of only just like, yeah, me talking about the true feeling about myself, yeah, it will be a little like basically kind of different. Later, I will explain about why when I just list down the function according to the energy list. Yeah, so you'll just understand it much more easily. Then their communication type, they are much more like a structure, just like ESFP that I mentioned last time. So they are informative. They have a lot of ideas in their mind. I already say they have the NE child, so they just always thinking about like a what if situation. But the what if situation is just much more like staying in their mind and talking with themselves. Like, yeah, so they just want to know more. And they are much more like initiating. They initiate emotionally. You can see that when they're trying to be like, they don't know how to start up like a gentleman usually, but they know how to start up like a family member. So usually ESFJ is very important for them to born in a good family. Usually they need a good family and they know how to do sharing. And somehow ESFJ, because of their personality itself, so usually they attract someone who really like cool and who really wants to, who don't know how to give but want to give other people to share like something with other people. So yeah, usually ESFJ is the one who, I don't know why, especially inside our church, yeah, they're the one who are much more richer. I don't know why. Usually, yeah, but we also have the poor ESFJ for sure. But usually ESFJ, they have the tendency to give more to other people. They always offer more efforts to other people. and they are much more movement type of people. Yeah, so it's not like a background type of people who just try to do everything by themselves. No, they are just movement. They just going everywhere and like yeah, it's okay. I will just help, but at the same time, if I can't help, I will just be there, supportive. Yeah, that's how the ESFJ, in an easy terms for understandings. So if I go through like the ESFJ, yeah, basically we go according to the energy list, and I can just draw it down to you all. So ESFJ, the first one is FE, then is SI, then the NETI, then we have the FISE, and ITE. So basically, you go according to the list itself, you will see a little bit certain patterns onto it, and I'll explain a little bit. So let's go to the four sides of mind. So the ego is ESFJ. Then we go to the subconscious. There will be like INTP. Then we go to the ISFP as their subconscious. No, it's the unconscious. Then the last one, the superego, they will just go to be the ENTJ. So in a sense, how should I just explain about this? Yeah, their personalities of, as I already said last time. So ESFJ, so who's their hero? Their hero is always the FE. So they are just always emotionally expressive. At the same time, they are sensitive onto other people's emotion. They're damn sensitive. In a sense, they can't really just close it and saying that, yeah, don't talk to me, or like just close it and saying that, yeah, don't affect my emotion. They just know that they can't, even though they try. So usually ESFJ, yeah, if you suddenly throw them to a bunch of people, because two of the function is like keep on working. One is like an NE child, and as well as the FE hero is working. So the NE child is like keep on guessing onto other people, but it's too many people at once, so they are just guessing the people pattern and they easily feel tired. But with the people's pattern about the emotions itself, they just making her like feeling that uncomfortable because it's not her comfort zone, like his or her comfort zone. So usually what's their choice? Their choice is to not just stay there and maybe leave is a better choice. Yeah. So that's how the ESFJ just came onto it. And you will find that I just keep on mentioning onto the emotional side. Yes, their brain just make them much more focusing onto the emotion side so much. And it's like so much because it's always on the hero. So even when she is happy, she is not happy, she want to bomb other people, she can't help. Yeah. She just, he or she, yeah, the ESFJ will always just facing a problem that even I want to accuse other people, like I still can sense others people feeling, just that maybe I can care more, or I can't really take care of it and just feel guilty maybe after. Yeah, that's much more like a ESFJ state of mind. Yeah, but it's not saying that they're stupid, but yeah, it's much more like a scenario that they will face as they are the ESFJ. So talking about it, and let's go to their parents function, which brings to their ego, which is the SI function. So they need a comfort zone. They need to build their comfort zone as well. So what a lot of people will just misunderstood that, yeah, you have a comfort zone, so it means that you just stay whatever you are. But actually, no, it's something that you need to go back, or like we go back to the reset and set like for my type is that we always go to reset. Like, so we are SE type. So, and for the SI type of people, it's not that they go back for reset. For them, it's not. It's that they go back to the base, and they go back to the base, and they need to see something familiar every day. So they need like a fix. We say maybe like a stable home, like a stable family, with husband with a stable job, with a stable schedule, and everything. If as long as it's stable, yes, then they can go out to have a little bit explore in this way. But if nothing is stable around her, it just chaotic. Will she continue breathe and survive? Yeah, sure, everybody do. But can she be happy and not feeling like too overwhelmed? No, usually no, unless she finds something substitute for her own heart to feel comforted, maybe a hobby or something. But usually it don't really help that much. She really needs surrounding. She's a E, not an I. Right? If I, yeah, sure, maybe like they will just have a much more easy way to find a way. Yeah. So talking about the ego, how to bring her ego back. If you try to taking care of ESFJ, you try to bring her back to her base every time after explore. It's not like explore after explore. Unless you are really sure that, you other person, she will just feel comfort or really trust 100% onto you, then you try it. Yeah, or else not recommended. Then let's go to like her subconscious. So her subconscious INTP and her subconscious gate to subconscious is the probability expansions. So the expanding of the probability itself, it will just bring a lot of ideas to her mind, and knowing people's pattern, knowing whatever that might happen in the future in a happy way, in a happy sense. And it's much more like they will just know that they like it. So usually how they use this function is much more like, okay, I'm going to buy a gift, and she will just he or she just look at every item that she saw that might be a gift to he or her friend, his or her friend. Then they will just start to think, oh yeah, so right now that person is receiving this one, and how is his or her reaction to it? Oh, is it happy? Is it not happy? Oh, it's happy, then maybe it will be good. And because he or she is happy, so I will be happy as well. Okay, I'll just buy it. There's much more one of the way. The other way is much more like, okay, I guess how other people gonna react when I'm trying to be nice. So usually, that's how they trying to do in a way to taking care of other people. So let's go to the unconscious state of the mind. So we go to the critics. So the critic itself, it comes to the other side of your mind. So you come to the shadow, and the trigger point for me, my understanding, is the number 6, which means SE function, the extroverted sensing function. So just now I talk about the introverted sensing function, is that always you need to bring her like back to her base and expanding her base as well by exploring from time to time. But at least he or she have something to secure with. And SE is basically a little bit different. Extroverted sensing is that you try to perform and react everything that's around you. So that's why they have the sense of like a reset for the SE user. But ESFJ, they are not an SE user. They are much more passive onto the SE function. So usually when you come to the SE functions of the ESFJ, what happened right there is that want to sense everything that will be good around her, but she can't. And the sensing itself, instead of like sensing comfort, she was sensing everything that suddenly come around her, and he or she, like come around like him or her, whatever. And because of the sensing itself, it bring tension onto him or she. And because of the sensing itself, he or she needs to be really like a firm onto it, trying to be firm, at the same time to do reactions onto it. So suddenly you start to walk on a bridge, but the bridge is like so narrow, so only one person can walk on it. It feels like it. You need to perform at the same time. It's like it's not something that you really get used to. That's what happened for the ESFJ. So they need to do performance in a sense. So their own feeling only come out during that time. But usually because their own feeling itself, they don't really speak it out in a usual term, in a usual way. they focusing on to other people feeling so much. So usually come to their own feeling, they will just easily quickly deny until they really come to like a self-protection mode. Then they speak out everything. Yeah. And usually when you come to this time, the best way to do, listen to her. Yeah. They need it. Yeah. He or she, whatever. But yeah, they need it. So yeah, you need to have this kind of interaction onto it. But it will be annoying as well, because let's go to the trigger of their superego, which is their fear function, which is the number four TI fear, which means introverted thinking fear. It means their intellectual side. So you can see that emotion is like basically surrounding everything about their life, and while it comes to thinking, it's so weak for them. And the first thing that comes for them to think is their own thinking. It's not that from not the extroverted thinking that you interact with outside world, then you have all the interaction, then you have a true and error, then you just in the end like a judgment in the end, or like a solution in the end. TI thinking kind of different. They just keep on doing reasonings. So for ESFJ, when they try to speak about their thinking, a big problem is that they speak without a goal. They just speak. And you thought that they are talking about their feeling, but they are not talking about their feeling. And you think that maybe they are giving their ideas that is much more making sense, but actually the ideas itself, it just pile up everything up. And they will just say that, that's how they've been, but you never saw the reasons coming why. And it just happened, and they just put it on and like, that's everything. Yeah, so it will be very annoying, firstly. And secondly, it will be something that you are really making troublesome with it. Since when we understand about like when we try to understand about like ESFJ, when they try to talk, they focus too much onto feelings. Just understanding this way, they usually neglect their own feeling. They can't really build up their own thinking, and their own thinking is their fear. So if you're asking them, do you have anything that's in your mind? No. They will say no. They don't know, because they really don't know. They only sensing. They are much more like reactor. So you give them the emotion, then they react back onto you. So because they are usually like you know, like in society, it's just normal. Our society is a society that built up with emotions more than intellect. Usually, like only few of the city that can just build up with intellect, but it's not the most. Like even the family is like work with the emotion. So their energy or their function for the emotion, especially extroverted feeling, is so much until they have a very weak thinking onto it. So usually what people want to do or like need to do to help them is that try to think, listen to their words. But while listening to their words itself, it doesn't mean that you need to always like trying to agree, but you can try to go through with it. So whenever they asking a reason, you ask them to give an answer, and according to their answer, you're trying to ask them like this kind of scenario. Do you think that is like suitable, or that, or how about that scenario as well? Like put more what if for them, because they like the curiosity, they like the possibility that being expanded. And with the possibility that you provided for them, because it's extroverted intuition, that you're giving them this kind of like a stimulation onto it, and you just bring them to be much more smarter and smarter. And because of the smart itself, and because of the or the build up on it, so it will just become a very natural like way to making them become much more mature in a sense. Yeah, it doesn't mean that they are stupid, but like in a from a inner society, or I would just call it like a micro society, your family, you suddenly need to go to the society of outside world itself. we call it outside world usually as a unification, is you are suddenly like step into the world of talking intellect and reality. Yeah, talking about the like everything that like substantial, practical. So suddenly it become everything about it, and it was just making you a little bit unprepared in a sense. So ESFJ, if you want to be if you want to be much more smarter, you need to find like a good friend of yours. At the same time, yeah, don't just only treat them as a good tools. Yeah, don't treat them as a tools, but really friend, and make them able. You need to open your heart in a sense, and you need to understand the feeling of like people urgently want to let you grow instead of like just making you feel humiliated. No, actually, like a lot of time people doesn't mean to make you humiliated, but at the same time, because of the environment that we are being protected so much, so that's why we easily feel humiliated in this way. Yeah, that's for a little bit opinions or advice on to the ESFJ. And for the ESFJ, like the superego is the ENTJ. So basically, what does it mean for the superego itself? Like he or she, yeah, I already say, like he or she, they already like trying to perform and trying to, yeah, giving a good impression onto other people. At the same time, need to do something to prove their own value. And if people are not appreciating everything what they did, yeah, sure, whatever. You are making me worse, and right now I will just move up with everything, and you can't just disturb me anymore. Maybe I will learn. Maybe I will just do my job much more efficiently. I will just get into whatever things that make me leave you. Yeah. So usually ESFJ is the one who would go and choose a group and join into it. Yeah, but their connection is so strong, so usually they will just attract a bunch of people that's much more similar, that know how to bring happiness towards each other. But happiness itself, would it work all the time? As long as the benefits don't hit onto each other. Yeah, so it usually come in this way. So yeah, that's all my understanding onto the ESFJ. Basically, yeah, but ESFJ, even though I say that you have a lot of things you need to grow, but at the same time, yeah, to be honest, a lot of time I just feel appreciated because one time one of the ESFJ, I had a quarrel with another type of personality, basically INFJ, and and the ESFJ just told me about her logic onto like how to deal with the people who is like really not calm onto it, and the basic logic onto it is that, yeah, if you see that that person is not calm, they are not even trying to listen anything that you are saying, so you just shut up and you just wait them to speak. And somehow it just made me realize about something that, yeah, my FE is like so weak in a sense. I mean, because it is in my shadows, or somehow like, yeah, I can't really just get onto that part, that function to make it mature so quickly. So I need a lot of like external supports, and somehow like with that and making me like, even though I thought I had learned enough, or like I had studied more enough, but somehow like always I have a blind spot on my FE, even though it's my critics. So, but it's become a passive critic instead of like a, yeah, instead of like an initiate one. Yeah, so it's much more like going in this way and just making me like realize much more things in this way. Then yeah, I'm just like, yeah, I pretty appreciate it. With that, it will just make me need to learn more and how to deal with people, like emotionally, how to deal with people, how to make everything works. Yeah, but that's a very huge like topic for me to make it better and better in the future. So yeah, if you enjoy this video, yeah, please like and share and tell to your friends. And I'm making an MBTI series like from ESFP from my last video, and going to go until the end. In the end, I'm gonna be who? INTJ? Maybe, yeah, from ESFP to INTJ. Yeah, anyway, see you all then. Yeah, done. Bye bye.